We have Greg from trainwithmap.com in studio with us. Phil says I wanted to send a quick note about Greg and my journey. I started with Greg on the 18th of July, and I have lost 39 pounds.
Yes! Oh my gosh,
Feels
that's
so much better with everything I do in my day-to-day life. Clothes fit better, and the meals are great. Greg is very responsive to change, and change is anything that are needed and is very accommodating. I could not have done this without the Rad Radio crew and their suggestion to use trainwithmap.com.
Love it.
39 pounds in 2 months, is that normal?
No, I really wanted to talk about how it takes time and, you really have to put the effort in. And then Phil just came in and dunked on me. But it is, obviously it is possible, and he's done it healthfully. I'm definitely not starving him by any means.
Yeah.
And we've been able to eat and feed him normally. His body's responding very quickly.
That's probably a personal metabolism thing with him, maybe?
Yeah, it's person to person. And,
Wait. You're suggesting that each human is different and responds differently to...
I know. I wish I had an automated, please answer after the beep, automation for people. But, you are different, and it takes time to hone in the meal plans. Sometimes we hit it right on the money first try, and other times it takes time.
Greg's going to be with us till the top of the hour. And for those of you that watch us on RADTV at members.radradio.com, the shoe cam is coming your way and includes a behind-the-scenes look at how WinRob's change works.
Whoa.
Very fascinating. And the shoes are in there, too, and the outfits and all that. So Queenie and I will host that at the top of the hour at members.radradio.com. Now, we were just talking, part of your past, you were a professional paintballer, which was always a fascinating thing to talk about. And you traveled around the world, on a team?
Yes.
Okay. But you retired.
Technically.
Was it to focus on map training, or was it you were just getting old for the paintball game?
I left because I wanted to, not because they could make me. No, I retired mostly to pursue map training and then to be with my family. I have a 2.5-year-old.
Because you were traveling all the time.
Yeah, constantly.
And this is like hardcore. It's not just like what I do once a year with friends. This is hardcore. We're in our suits. There's tactics and everything against a bunch of other guys.
Yeah, it's mercenary work for sure.
Okay. But they're dragging you back in, I understand.
They've been trying to drag me back in all year.
Okay. So how do they do it? They call and they offer you money to come play on their teams?
That's exactly what happened.
Is it the same team, the same old team, or are you getting recruited by others?
So right now I'm actually getting recruited by another team. They're not actually even a professional team here in the States, but they do play professionally in Europe. And that's how they got me. They called and they said, hey, do you want to go to Paris and we'll bring your wife for you? Okay, let's go to Paris.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's amazing.
You get to take your wife to Paris, but you're going to go play paintball. So what, does she go see Paris while you're playing paintball?
Yeah, she gets to go see the city while I'm doing my thing, and then we're going to stay a couple extra days to be together and go see Italy.
Oh,
So
I
what
love that.
what about your clients? You've been gone for a week. They're all going to be lost without you.
Well, I have some great trainers here to cover my work here, but that is the fun part about map training is that I can work from anywhere just as well as you can do it from anywhere.
All right, which is the thing we always have to remind people, no matter where you are, literally around the world, are you going to see any of your European clients? Because you have them, right?
I am. Yes, I'm actually going to play with one of them.
No way!
I love this.
That is fantastic.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
How long have we been doing this together? Are we at a year yet?
We're just short of a year.
Just short of a year.
Yeah.
And the success stories continue to roll in. I know did you just finish up your most recent 6-week rad training, or are you still in it?
We have one more week to go after this.
So we have a few recent success stories. And we reported on this, and I forgot when we read the initial email, the background of Taylor. She wrote in and gave us her progress. And then when I saw your email follow up to me, I was like, oh, that's right. We forgot. She's the one that wouldn't leave her apartment, right?
Yes.
And she wanted to exercise, but she got agoraphobia and said, can Greg, can I do this? And so she suffers from agoraphobia, and she wrote into us a few weeks ago and said, hey, things are going really well. She has lost 20 pounds.
Oh my God, yes.
And she's at her goal weight in 4 months.
She's at her goal weight.
And now, did she do all of that at home, or did she? Because I remember her email said like at one point I think she went into a gym and ran and then left or whatever.
Yeah, so she tried again. She actually had a bad experience going to the gym, and it was a total fluke situation of classic stereotype guy straight out of a movie. But she's stronger now. You know what I mean? She's really made the effort to get out of the house. But more importantly is most of the success, 99% of the success that she had was at home with no equipment.
Wow.
No equipment at all.
No equipment at all. And we were on a pretty tight budget as far as food goes. And then obviously limited trips to the store. So we worked around a lot of things to get it done.
Because a big part of what you do, that personal touch thing that you do, is there's an element of what you do where you're a counselor, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. I wouldn't necessarily classify
That's what
myself
he's
as a
been.
counselor, but I definitely I approach it from two sides. You know, whenever a doctor has an opinion or someone's suffering from pains and aches, I always take the, hey, as a professional, here's my opinion, but I'll always give you the friend-to-friend opinion too. And sometimes that one's a little more powerful.
Which, by the way, I should back up. The reason I started with the professional athlete thing was I was going to lead into your other bona fides, which is you are an actual certified nutritionist. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yep.
And personal trainer.
Yep.
And the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian is what?
Simply a certification, and where you live is what determines what I can tell you, right? So I can tell you to eat certain things as opposed to a dietitian who maybe works in a more medical condition area.
Phone number is 888-989-9811 if you have questions for Greg from trainwithmap.com. Again, his name is not Matt. It is trainwithmap.com from Map Training. Another success story is Joel. He owns a very successful and fast-paced business, but manages to make time for 4 training sessions each week. This is the story I want to keep circling back to because of that excuse. I don't have time. I work too much. I got kids.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like he's a guy who would fit that category, but he has found time for 4 training sessions a week, and he's lost 100 pounds.
Now over 100 pounds.
Oh my God.
Over 100 pounds.
Oh.
And it was a very up and down situation. Obviously, that didn't happen overnight. That's been well over a year in the making. And he went through multiple different processes as far as nutrition went. He went through some ups and downs of, wanting to go drinking or wanting to do keto or wanting to stay on a meal plan that I wrote. And he looks his best now after regaining a little bit of weight as he filled out, because I convinced him to eat some more carbohydrates, which I always preach. And,
That's amazing.
if anyone gets a chance to go to the Map Training Instagram and see his photos, they're absolutely amazing.
And you called in last week, and we're going to actually revisit the gastric sleeve topic, because once you bring something up on this show, it starts to get its own life. But before we get to that, you mentioned that this guy actually had a different type of surgery that you totally endorse because of the 100-pound weight loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you lose that much weight, your skin does not retract. So you do have hanging skin. And I was super proud of him. He was able to lose enough weight on his own that he went and had, I think it was 9 pounds of skin removed.
Whoa.
Dang.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. It was 8 or 9 pounds. And he looks amazing. He deserves to get that surgery because he spent all that time, all that hard work was done, and he looks as fit as ever.
I have an odd voyeuristic question. What do they do with that skin? Do we know?
I don't know. He offered to send me photos of the whole process, and I was like, I'm good. Before and after is
I know,
totally enough for me.
Do they use our skin for stuff?
Can you request it? Put it in
You
a
know?
big jar
Right.
and use it as like a motivational tool.
That sounds like a question for a dietitian.
I'm thinking make them into like pork rinds almost. You can dry them out a little bit, make them crispy.
God, no.
You can sell lamps on the black market that are made out of human skin for like $1,500.
Now we know where they're getting it.
I was
Joel,
thinking
call me.
lipstick or something. Jesus.
We got this email from from Alec rather, for Greg. This may or may not be out of your expertise range, but you seem to never shy away from a question. But he just wrote in. He said, I have a question for Greg from Map Training. How bad is it for our bodies to be out in this smoke? Reno's AQI is over 400 yesterday. I was out in it for 6 hours. I feel dead this morning. We all got jobs to do. Any tips or advice that Greg has for these harsh conditions?
Ooh, I mean, obviously the very easy thing is don't do your cardio outside. Spend as little time as you can outside, right? As your heart rate goes up, you're pumping through some of the chemicals in that smoke a lot faster into the cells of your body. But as long as it's not something you're doing long term, like a chronic smoker, it is something you'll be able to work through very, very regularly. So nothing to worry about.
Hello, Austin. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Hey, I had a question for Greg about paintball. Hey, what team did you play for? Because growing up, I used to play tournament paintball in the Sacramento area.
So I actually have a laundry list of teams. I've played for, I think, 12 pro teams. My most recent one was Team LA Infamous.
Is that
Yeah, right on. Isn't Thomas Taylor playing for them too?
Okay. All right. Knew it right away. What was that, Austin?
Oh, I was just going, isn't Thomas Taylor playing on that? And are you going to go play for the Tauntauns?
Well, he does know paintball. Thomas Taylor is on his 20th season. He just announced he's still not retiring. He's still on Infamous, and one of the guys trying to convince me to come back. And I am going to play with the Camp Pendleton Raiders, an actual American team over there. But I will be playing with Marcelo Margot from Dynasty.
But do you know the Tom-Toms?
Oh, I know the Tauntauns. They are the famous French team. We'll be playing them. I'm actually playing for Team USA while I'm there as well. I got recruited for that team.
Nice. I
It's
love
my
that.
my 9th time on the team. We've won 7.
Yay.
and we will play the tauntauns as the French professionals.
We got this email, rad@radradio.com, from Ashley. Says, I wanted to share another happy customer review with Greg from trainwithmap.com. I worked with him before I had to stop due to some medical issues and being distracted with getting medically separated from the Navy. Once I'm settled back down, you can bet I'll be working with him again. Despite the fact that I had to stop working with Greg for the time being, he continually messages me to check on me and how my progress is going, even though I had to stop working with him temporarily.
So caring.
It shows that he honestly cares about each of his clients
Yes.
and doesn't forget about the ones who had to take a pause. I know you all know how great he is, but I just thought I would share how he does something as simple as checking up on me occasionally and how that makes the experience of working with him exponentially better than any other experience I've ever had.
That's really cool. You know, I always tell people, I even put this in, you know, kind of like my welcome when I first set up the plans is, I'll do whatever I can to help, but you get what you put in. You know, it takes a lot of effort. It is a two-way street. That's how those adjustments are made to get the success and, you know, create that learning process. And she did that. So I'm always happy to help.
Does anyone ever feel like you're a little stalkery? Like, you know, hey, I'm not working with you anymore. Why do you keep checking in on me? Sort of thing.
Not yet. Not yet. Give it time.
To the issue of putting in the work and looking for an easy out, while also acknowledging, as we did last week when this came up in the Dr. Rob segment, this is a real struggle for people, weight loss. For some people, it's like, I've tried everything. The issue of the gastric sleeve came up. And we got a note from Josh, who says, I'm 5'7", 275 pounds, 43-year-old male. I'm waiting on a surgery date for the gastric sleeve, and I'm super nervous. But like most people with weight issues, it's been a struggle with weight all of my life. There have been so many ups and downs with my weight. I feel that I would greatly benefit from the sleeve surgery, but there is still a part of me that wants to do it without surgery. I work 12 hours a day, 5 days a week with a 1-hour commute each way to and from work. I do a lot of walking at work. That doesn't really leave me a lot of time for much else throughout the day. Do you think there is hope for me with your program, Greg? This whole approval for weight loss surgery has taken me 6 months with a lot of things I had to do along the way. I obviously know it comes down to me and what I do, but do you help guide your clients to better habits? I'm so sorry if these are odd questions. I've just worked so hard these last 6 months to get approved for surgery that I don't want to throw it all away for another thing that will work for just a while.
Oh my gosh, this is my sole purpose, is to create programs that are going to work long term. And we have people write back, you know, just like you heard in the email saying, hey, months later, a year later, they're still using the base of our program to continue on their own. And anything I can do to prevent you from getting that gastric sleeve surgery, I will do, just because the struggle doesn't go away. You may have some quick success, but quick success does not last, and you're hurting yourself long term by getting it.
So you are fundamentally against, are you against all of these procedures?
All of those gastric procedures, I'm totally against them, unless there is some dramatic, you know, medical immediate reason why you need it for survival. There is no need, in my opinion, to get it.
Because you're not addressing the core issue.
Right.
I guess let me ask it this way. Does everyone, with medical exceptions, does everyone that has a story where I've struggled with weight all my life come with some type of mental or emotional issue attached to the food or the exercise that has to be addressed?
Absolutely. And if it's not directly to the food or the exercise, it's a mentality. They consider themselves either a lazy person or they consider themselves too busy, right? And those are just, it's a thought process. You can easily adapt those when you find the right combination of things.
Because that's not a popular thing to say, because you're really putting it on them. And a lot of people, depending on where they are in the journey, they're only go, you're so mean. There's other things to it. I mean, you really put yourself out there when you say, yeah, in my experience, it's on you.
That's that friend-to-friend opinion I'm talking about, right? You know, your worst friends are supporting you in doing these surgeries and getting away with the what they see as a quick fix, when someone like me will come tell you, like, no, that's not the right answer. It does take longer, and you have to put the work in.
As a lay person, not a professional like Greg, when I hear your email, I really just want to cry because, you know, it's not mean, it's truthful. You know, if the common denominator is you, and it's not the food, it's not the exercise, it's you and why. And I personally feel, as someone who has struggled my whole life, there's a why, and you got to figure out your why. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own journey, their own story. You got to figure out your why and get past that why, and then you can be successful. And it's not just because Greg is here with our show. I have been with trainers my whole life. Just hardcore, that gave me more eating disorders, honestly. And Greg is different from every single person. It is unreal. The amount of expertise he has and the amount of care that he has and the commitment he has to you. And I would just really encourage you to start that journey to find your why. And you can do that with Greg, meaning with the meal plans and all of that. And because that's what it is. When we say nothing works, yes, it does. We don't work. We're not allowing it to work. We're the reason it's not working. It's not the plan. It's us, period.
Right. And I fully agree with you, and I really appreciate it. But, something I wanted to relate back to was in the Dr. Rob segment talking about the gastric surgery and the success that it has over 2 years. Did you see anything about 5 or 10 years? Because I never have, because it's terrible. The success rate in 2 years is easy because you can't eat. There's no option. But after that, when your stomach does grow, when you have to rely on your habits, that's when it really comes back to bite you.
So a couple of the hurdles that we get are time and I don't have time, or all the other things you mentioned. Then this is a different one. This is from Charles. It says, I want to lose weight, but when I go to the gym, I get bored very easily. Doing brisk walking on the treadmill or elliptical machine, after about 5 minutes, it feels like I've been on it for 5 hours. I've tried listening to music instead of watching the TVs in the gym, but nothing. I have a very active mind that needs constant stimulation, and staying stationary doesn't help. It is the one issue that keeps me from being consistent and going to the gym. How would you help him?
You're limiting your thoughts. Have you tried kickboxing? Have you tried pickleball? Have you tried anything outdoor? Have you tried something with a team? Have you tried a Tough Mudder? There's a billion other things than just picking up a weight.
Yeah, and also with your app, you give a workout routine as well. So I used to have this issue too, where I just didn't know what workouts to do also, and I find myself bored. But when you list out the routines of different workouts to go through, it gives you like kind of like a race or like a puzzle to complete almost. You got these different aspects where you got to go and accomplish something. So it takes the boredom away.
You have a way to take his bored mind and give him the options that'll really prove whether or not it is the one thing that's keeping him from doing this.
And I can give him something different every day.
Adam says, I'm in horrible shape with bad habits. I spend 8 hours at work sitting, and then I go home to try to build a brand with streaming gaming. I drink a lot of alcohol. I hate drinking water. And I enjoy cooking, but I don't have a lot of time between everything to cook all the time. I'm 5'6" and almost 240 pounds, and I can't motivate myself to get healthy. I was thinking of getting together the money to get with MAP, but I feel like I don't even have the mindset for that yet, or I feel I'll get overwhelmed trying to balance all of these things.
You're still relying on motivation. Motivation dies. On a hard day, a rainy morning, a long night, motivation dies. Discipline is what lasts. So rather than trying to flip your life upside down and quit half of the things you're doing now, why don't we start with one discipline? If we can limit the alcohol, and then next we can pick a few good foods, and maybe next we can work on some walking or some workouts, but take it one step at a time. It doesn't have to be everything today.
Kyle, you were talking one day, I think it was last week, you were talking about how great you felt, and it was a day after you had worked out before the show, because you're a psycho, in the middle of the night. Do you always really feel like it in the morning? No, you're not always excited.
I set my alarm. We wake up early for the show, but now that I've now put in the workout routines earlier before I come into work, I wake up at 1:45 a.m. I'm in the gym at 2:30, and no, it is sometimes a nightmare on the drive there, knowing that I'm going to have to get on a Stairmaster or hit a treadmill or, God forbid, jump rope this morning. But the second you get in there, I think showing up's half the battle too. The second I get in there, I do my workout routine, I complete it, I get out, I'm sweaty, I'm panting in the car, but the second I'm driving and the cool air hits me or the air conditioning, you get the chills, you get the goosebumps, you get this big old rush of endorphins, and you feel on top of the world almost.
That's an old slogan, but I'm wondering if Kyle's selling himself short. Is showing up half, or is it more? Is showing up like 75 or 80%? If we're talking about showing up in terms of I'm doing it.
We literally just did a podcast episode about this. So we started the podcast.
Yeah, the competition. I love that. You don't see me opening a gym.
I really appreciate that you'd even consider me competition. I take that as a compliment. We're not even on the same playing field. But to me, showing up is not the hard part. I know people that go to the gym for 2 hours and they go to the sauna, maybe touch their toes. You know what I mean? I hate that mentality. But showing up, meaning showing up to accomplish something, showing up like in a mentality version, that's the hard part.
So I have numerous girlfriends that are extremely fit and have been that way for years and years. And people will just assume, you must look forward to exercising every day. Not a one of them does. That they're like, if you're waiting until you feel like exercising, you will never exercise. They feel great. Same thing. They feel great after. They're happy they did it. But, they're like, oh God, you know, and then they're like, you just got to do it. That's it. If you keep waiting until you feel like it, it'll never happen. And I think that's what a lot of people do. Well, I got to wait till I feel like it.
You know what? And you can dumb it down to everyday stuff. It's like that pile of laundry or that clutter in your house or that project that every day you don't say, oh, I'll get to it, and every day it gets worse, and it almost makes it's counteractive. It makes you less desirous to even
I'll get
do
to it Monday, like that diet, right? Yeah.
Well, what's cool about that same type of mentality is that when you get like partway through your actual goal and you start seeing results, like right now I'm starting to see my body actually morph. I can actually start seeing like my muscles almost form a six-pack, my gut almost going completely away, and my chest getting bigger and my arms getting bigger, and that's a huge motivation as well.
We got this one from Name Withheld Woman.
Hey, girl.
She says, I'm 30. I do not exercise much. I eat fairly healthy, but I do love carbs. I'm short, so I technically have a high BMI because I'm 5'2" and 170 pounds. Oh, and I'm trying to get pregnant. Do you have a program for women like me?
Absolutely. We work with women in so many different stages of life, I guess is the best way to describe it, including when you are trying to get pregnant. There's nothing wrong with carbohydrates, as I preach day in and day out. However, I'm sure it comes down to the balance of food that you're doing or taking in, because healthy does not always mean fit when it comes to food.
Now that you've dumped on gastric procedures, I want to give you an opportunity to dump on what about things like Weight Watchers, Slim Fast, those type of quick fixes that are promising on TV all the time with big-time celebrities to do what you need to do.
Yeah, if you hire a celebrity, I mean, they're already trying to just stuff it in your face, right?
Hey, whoa.
That's why we're talking. So this is in your face.
man, that's great.
No, so my issue with, and I can go individually, right? But my issue with Weight Watchers is something based on points doesn't make sense, right? Because I can live on 3 brownies if I don't have a big appetite. Weight Watchers should work for me if I do that. It doesn't make sense. Or Slim Fast. I call it the cereal effect. If I eat a bowl of cereal for breakfast because I have high cholesterol, you guys know who I'm talking about. It's not the cereal bringing my cholesterol down. It's not eating eggs and bacon. It's what you're not doing. So if I skip lunch and drink a Slim Fast drink, well, yeah, I'm going to start to lose weight because I'm not eating a bacon cheeseburger at lunch, right? So it's creating healthy habits through a company that's charging you too much money.
I mean, some of it sounds anorexic to me, where it's like, don't eat for all these hours. I mean, it's like, well, how do you think people become anorexic? They don't eat. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh my God. Some of it just sounds so extreme, but it's under that guise of a diet, and it's so popular. And like you said, you get the celebrities, so you're just thinking it's all great.
Yeah, you see the infomercial and they sell you on these promises, right? But it's not a healthy way of living. It's not something you can sustain long term. Back to the same point.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people are like me. I'd buy a strip mall if Marie Osmond was trying to hawk it to me.
Back to the gastric procedure and a lot of these things that involve quick fixes. One of the concerns is that even if you wind up being one of the lucky few to where the procedure works for you, if you don't address the mental part of it, you might put it into another destructive behavior. And Crystal wrote in to basically just prove that point. I'm listening to the conversation and I've been thinking about contacting Greg because I need help with my meal plans. I had gastric bypass surgery in 2008. I was 256 pounds. I got down to 128. I'm now at 141.
Good for you. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah.
I do not eat like I should, and I became an alcoholic.
Oh.
Now sober 8 years. My email point is my surgery was successful, but I still need help.
It's a process. Like, I mean, we see it in so many things. You know, you see a smoker quit and they resort to entire bags of Oreos because they need something in their mouth.
Yeah.
A lot of it is habits, right? Which is what we train. That's why we are available every day on the app for a conversation, for those questions, to help you develop, 1, the mindset, but 2, the ideas of how to make things work.
Camber says, this is probably a stupid question, but I was wondering about your $99 meal plan. Is it 2 meals a day or 2 meals for the week that you eat every day? I'm back in the gym 4 days a week, but I know you can't outwork a bad diet and I need to make a change.
I know, we've all tried. With the meal plan, when it says 2 or 3 or 7 or whatever plan you're looking at, it is a day. So what we do on the meal plans is, regardless of how many times you eat, we will write out each meal food by food with measurements and totals for your day. So you have a guideline if you do want to branch out and create your own foods. Obviously, we'll help you with that. But it is days of menus, not individual meals.
Jeff wrote in, as long as we're talking about various quick fixes, overall thoughts on energy drinks.
I'd be a total hypocrite if I told you not to drink caffeine in some manner. I do lean. Everyone knows it. I do lean away from energy drinks because anything carbonated or anything stored in a can is going to have some level of preservatives in them. And then most energy drinks are so cheap because of where they get their caffeine. Not all caffeine's created equal.
Now, if somebody's looking for that, if somebody who's not working out, who's not on your program, they're not, maybe they just walk or whatever, can they use your Smasher product, or is that just going to not work for them?
No, absolutely. And the nice part about taking a pre-workout, I hear Kyle, the nice part about taking a pre-workout versus necessarily an energy drink are the other effects. There are more ingredients to help you manage muscle fatigue and manage focus throughout the day. And like I've said before, even the Smasher, I'll use it to replace my coffee, where I sip on it throughout the day. And it actually helps me bring my total caffeine consumption down while still getting those same effects.
So Greg's entire MAPtrition line is available at radradio.com. You go to the Stupid Store.
Superstore.
And you hit the MAPtrition line. Is there any updates on flavors or quantities or sold out items that we should be talking about this morning?
We are working on rebranding right now, so you'll see some new labels, especially on the multivitamins. But we've completely switched over to the new manufacturer. We are working on some new products. Nothing crazy yet. We're just waiting on the Lemonade Smasher to come in.
So that's at what?
Lemonade?
Lemonade.
On radradio.com and the Stupid Store.
Superstore.
Go to MAPtrition. I saw this story. I had to ask you about it. A fitness influencer has sparked bewilderment online after he revealed that he eats 100 eggs a day to maintain his muscles. His name's Fernando Tarraca. He's out of Florida. He went viral when he posted a series of videos showcasing his diet online, explaining he enjoys eating eggs because they're, quote, fast to digest, which means he can have numerous small meals throughout the day. He spreads the 100 eggs out across 4 meals, and for each meal, he eats 1 cup of egg whites and only 2 yolks, claiming the yolks are fattening, so he throws out all of the yolks. WebMD responded to the story saying that eggs are an excellent way to eat protein without calories, but eating too many eggs can put you at risk for heart disease and stroke. What do you say?
Too much of any good thing is always a bad thing. That's my main opinion, right? So he's living on a weird protein diet, very odd. And there are other effects when you overdose, essentially, which he's definitely doing, on certain nutrients, micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. They affect your absorption and ability to use others. So most relative to eggs is this vitamin biotin. So I'm sure his hair is going to start falling out. His nails are going to crack. Other things are going to go wrong. And I doubt he's really been doing it that long.
And people are following him.
Yeah, about 500,000
Right?
people.
Like, oh my God.
500,000 people.
No.
Guys, I eat eggs every day.
Tony wrote in, and Matt, if you got, as some of us on the show age, so does our audience, and a lot of guys want to know about low T. Tony says, I have low testosterone. I was tested twice for it. I was told if I started treatment, then I would have to do it forever. That's what both doctors said. Will me not doing the treatment prevent me from losing weight? I'm about 400 pounds.
So this is going to be a hard truth. The reason you have low T is because you're 400 pounds. Your testosterone levels are directly affected by your internal health, and being 400 pounds, there's just no way that you have a healthy internal system, and it's driving your testosterone levels down because your estrogen is so high currently due to the fat content. You are better off just getting on a healthy diet, and by healthy, I mean avoiding packaged goods. That is the quickest, easiest way to say, head this direction, and that's going to bring your testosterone levels up more naturally.
Matt says, I'm in my 50s. I don't lack motivation to work out, but I am regularly sore and tired. What do you think about testosterone injections or supplements for us elderly? I do like to bike and cardio and such.
It's worth testing. Peak muscle mass for men is 35 years old, so your testosterone levels can potentially drop from there. If he's already an active guy, yeah, it may be worth supplementing it to some extent.
What about your aforementioned Smasher for him? Because you mentioned that it does help rebuild muscles. He says he's sore all the time.
If he's sore all the time, I was going to go down this route too, is your post-workout. So depending on how you're eating surrounding an active lifestyle, you're already beating up your muscles more than the average person, actually more than about 70% of America, to tell you the truth. And you need to recover more quickly. So something like the Max Work protein powder, the Determined protein powder, in combination with some carbohydrates like bread or fruit would go a long way when it comes to recovery.
That's at radradio.com in the Stupid Store.
Superstore.
And then somebody else wants to know about weight loss drinks, and specifically they attached flat belly water. If you've ever heard of it. It's half a cucumber, a little water, some ginger, lemons, mint leaves.
What are we doing, man?
We're looking for a quick answer. So the nice part is, if you want to drink this so-called flat belly water, all it is a 0-calorie anti-inflammatory. All of those are anti-inflammatory. So they're trying to help your gut. that is not going to make you weigh less unless you're replacing meals with it, which I highly don't recommend because it's not going to last.
Can you just lose inflammation by losing weight?
Absolutely.
Because you go to the store and there's just so many magazines, right? Like, get rid of your inflammation, just eat this, right? And I was wondering that the other day at the grocery store. I'm like, I'm gonna ask Greg. I bet you just losing weight gets rid of inflammation.
Yeah, so much of it, and inflammation only carries so much of your weight. So they just named it flat belly to make you buy it.
Hello there, Sam.
Hey, Greg. I just hit the big 4-0, and I'm trying to actually
Young.
gain weight. I'm like athletically built, but trying to gain some fat and some muscle. I was wondering if you've worked with anyone like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brandon's right here. We work with Brandon about gaining muscle. He's got a smaller build, and we really work on it.
Looks good.
As a general statement, you're probably not eating enough carbohydrates. I sound like a broken record. Typically, when someone's trying to gain mass, if they have an athletic build already and they are active, I'll put their carbohydrates at 50% of their diet. And being athletic, you probably have a quicker metabolism. So raising your calories by 200 to 300 a day is a really safe place to start.
Rochelle wants to know, what are your thoughts on intermittent fasting?
The revolving circle, deja vu. So intermittent fasting, I only recommend it for people who actually have digestive issues, typically from Crohn's, inflammation, maybe even diabetes, because it makes it easier to regulate the systems in the body. I do not recommend intermittent fasting for the average person because I think so many people eat poor quality calories in small amounts, causing them to gain weight just as much as overeating.
George wants to know, does MAP training help with creating keto diet plans? What are the benefits and negative side effects of being on the keto diet?
Ooh, that's a long list of benefits and cons. However, it is something that we do work with. Typically, I only recommend working with it intermittently because I do not think it's studied well enough to say that it's a long-term answer because it can put a lot of strain on the liver. But it is something that we work with quite often.
I'm on the intermittent fasting. I'm so glad you touched on that because it's very big right now with females. They're really pushing it big time. And someone in my family's on it, and I was reading the book that they read, and as I'm reading it, I'm like, again, I went back to like eating disorder. I'm like, so you maybe only eat twice a day? Like, just the way when I was reading, I'm like, this cannot be good. It's like actually less food. But and it even said in this book, some people may tell you this sounds like an eating disorder, but this isn't. This is like regulating your body and you're going to be healthier than you've ever been. I'm sitting there going, how is not eating good? Like it sounded horrifying. The amounts of time, I guess you could go 21 hours. I don't know. There's a whole thing. And I was like, here you go. Good luck. Like,
it just keeps going. Everyone has an answer, right? They want to say that this is the one way to do it. And I would agree that it is a way of doing it, but I just don't recommend it because you're not going to do it for a lifetime. When Christmas rolls around or a birthday party, or you are on a plane and you can't eat during those hours, there's too many factors that can affect it and go, I'll start again on Monday, versus something that's more adaptable.
Last week you were here, you launched a new 6-week program. Are you going to do the same thing today?
We are.
All right. What is it this time?
MAPtoberfest.
I get it.
oh, I like that.
It's like October, but MAPtoberfest.
Yeah, I even made some cute little characters on the icon when you go to the website. But it is the exact same 6-week program that we've been running. I mean, you've heard all the success stories from it. People absolutely love it. And again, what I like about it the most, aside from the immediate success, is because it's so almost overwhelming with information, and we move so fast paced that people are staying on long term because they are getting all the assets that they need very quickly. So it fulfills that instant need for success and doing better long term.
Sarah's obviously an overachiever because she'd already snuck into the website and saw.
Well played.
So we already have an email from her. It says, with the MAPtober training program, does that include gym access?
I get that question a lot. It really doesn't, but if you are local and you need a gym to come to while you're in the program, I'm more than happy to give you entrance during that time frame because then I get to keep an eye on you too.
And on the other side, they don't have to be local to participate in the MAPtoberfest.
Not at all. It's a completely remote system if that's what you want to do, and we'll include all the menus to adapt to you, all the workouts for what you have and what you don't, even if you're locked in your home.
But like usual, it's limited, and it's first come, first serve, and when it's sold out, it's sold out. 25 people, right?
25 people top.
Program begins September 26th, but they have to sign up by September 23rd.
Yes.
And you go to maptraining.com/radradio.
Trainwithmap.com.
What did I say?
Map training.
No, don't do that. Jesus. Idiot. Trainwithmap.com/radradio. Thank you for listening. We got this note from Kevin. Says, I signed up for Greg's meal plan back in January, but I cannot make consistent time to shop and meal prep in my schedule. I work about 90 hours a week and just don't have the energy to shop and cook. Currently, I have pre-made meals delivered from an online health company, but they're not balanced for my diet. Is there any plan in the future for Greg to sell pre-made meals in line with his meal plans?
Oh, man. So this has been something that's been rattling around. I actually looked at a new gym location that had a full kitchen in it. And trust me, we're at the very beginning stages. We're still playing with the idea. It's not something on the immediate horizon, but it is on my book.
So for those that need a reason to procrastinate, there it is. Andrew,
I'll start when he does that.
Andrew says, I'm on his website. Well, is it trainwithmap.com? Because you got to go to the right website, dummy. Where do I find the $99 meal plan, he says?
So the easiest place is trainwithmap.com/radradio. If you just scroll down about halfway down the page, you will see all the main monthly options that we offer. And then right at the top of the page is the MAPtoberfest.
All right, let me throw you this intervention opportunity here. Remember Melissa? She's the self-identified fat girl who's been writing in and sending us updates. She was scared to go to the gym.
Yes.
Because everybody that's beautiful works out.
Please.
We talked her into going. And then she had some family. Okay. She says, I am the self-identified fat girl, and I still have the mentality of I really want to be skinny, but I always allow something to get in the way. Greg had been so amazing, work with me, trying to keep me motivated, but I will admit I have ghosted him, and I am so sorry about it. My life has been crazy. I can go through a list of whys I haven't been able to make it to the gym or eat the food plan, but those are all just excuses. I heard Greg mention that starting slowly is the way to go, giving up alcohol, then moving into eating a healthy meal a day, etc. What does he suggest to get me back on the train? My schedule is opening up more, and I want to move forward with my goal, but I think I have to start slow. I've given up, and I am very disappointed with myself, and I'm sorry I have let you all down.
Oh, no.
And I especially let myself down.
Oh, gosh.
No, you haven't. You wrote in again now. You're still aware of it. You're still paying attention. I bet you've made a few better decisions this time around than you would have had we not started the process in the first place. So don't look at it that way, because you're just driving yourself into the ground. When it comes to starting with one thing at a time, my suggestion would be start with one meal where you're going to schedule it and you're going to eat it the exact same way all the time, or 30 minutes of activity of any kind, walking, gym activity, air squats. Pick one or the other, not both.
We got this note from Val.
Hey, Val.
We've been with Greg since August 11th after we heard him on your show, and we love him and his staff. My husband has lost almost 20 pounds, and I'm down 15.
Yay!
We both work and had to find time, and that is at 4:30 in the morning.
Always the guy losing more, though.
Way to get that in, Dawn.
I had to.
His meal plans and workouts are well planned. The best part about working with Greg is his attitude and how he meets us where we are. In addition, if you think you can't afford it, he's willing to work with you. So proud of my hubby, Jason, for going along with me on this crazy journey and getting up at 4 a.m. to hit the gym with me.
There is your shout out, Jason, right there. I got a text on the way here. I just saw them this morning at 4:30, and I was like, I don't know if I can do a shout out, but I'm so glad. They are completely our people. You know, it's just the power of the Maggot Army is they are our people. They are firecrackers when they roll in at 4:30 in the morning, right at my level. And we have so much fun in the workouts, and they've just embraced every part of it. They're doing awesome.
The MAPtoberfest begins on September 26th. It's the new 6-week program available at trainwithmap.com/radradio. There are only 25 spots. First come, first serve. All the details at trainwithmap.com/radradio. And where can people hear this competition to Rad Radio, your new podcast?
On YouTube. The easiest way to get there is through our Instagram. You can just head right over there. I have the link right to the podcast system. And it's just more content to help you get through all these excuses that we keep hearing.
We never have enough time. We always appreciate you being here. We'll have you back soon. Thanks so much, Greg. Anyway, thank you so much, Greg. Trainwithmap.com.